Runding's scheduling application for Kahua allows users to import Microsoft Project and Primavera P6 files into Kahua for tracking, reviewing, sharing all of your project schedules with other users inside of your Kahua projects. This application supports the MS Project MPP file extension, as well as the Primavera P6 XER file extensions for the import into Kahua. It is also important to note that Runding's Kahua schedule integration only supports data imports and does not export any Kahua data back out to Project or Primavera P6. Over the course of this demo session, we're going to cover how to import an MS Project MPP file or a Primavera P6 XER file, how to import a revision, and then review all of the data layouts and data locations so that it is easy to find and understand where your scheduled data has gone once it's been imported into Kahua. Kahua's scheduling application is comprised of 3 tabs: Schedules, Tasks, and Revisions. We'll click on the New button and enter a demo name for the schedule that we're going to import. The External Schedule checkbox is there to allow for specifying specific vendor company and contact information if this schedule came from an external data source, like a subcontractor or a general contractor. To import an internal scheduling file, we will navigate to our local file system and find the P6 XER schedule file that we'd like to import. You can input the effective date for that schedule as well as add any narrative information to the schedule file that you would like in the description field. When you click Save, the file status will say Awaiting Processing, which means the file is in draft, and to import it, we click Submit. Once the file is submitted, the file status will change from Awaiting Processing to Processing. After closing that window, we'll see a start and end date in the left-hand view. If we click back into the schedule, we'll see a scheduled task data. Scheduled task data is viewable, so if you would like to view any of the scheduled task information, drilling into each of the scheduled tasks will give us a detailed view. Kahua provides a Gantt chart for your schedules and your task files. Click this checkbox next to the schedule file that we want to visualize and click the Visualize button to see a Gantt chart. A slider to zoom allows you to focus on particular areas of the scheduled task. There are also column controls to add and hide additional data points, like actual start and end dates. Next, navigate over to the task view, which is read-only and with less ability to do a lot of sorting and filtering of that data while it belongs in an items grid as part of the schedule. To make changes, we've created a custom task register view that stores all task information and provides all the scheduled task level data to surface it to build your own custom queries and log view data points. By default, we sort by schedule view, so you can see all the tasks sorted by their estimated end dates. You'll see that we have some linked information and a bit more in-depth information than was represented in the scheduled task version of this same view. In addition, you'll notice new links. In configuration, milestone auto mapping was turned on as well as work breakdown auto mapping turned on. During that import process, we extracted the WBS and milestone information from our scheduled tasks and linked those data elements to the scheduled tasks inside of the system. If we were to click on our milestone here, it will take us to the milestone application. We can see our bidirectional link here with a scheduled task that links back to 1100 Hire Project Delivery internal team with a start and finish date. In addition to just linking the first task that we were looking at, we have 6 milestones, all of which are linked to a particular scheduled task inside of the schedule that we imported. If we navigate back to the schedule application and we click on the Edit button, from this view, there are some select metadata fields that only exist in Kahua that can be added to this schedule task. These fields only need to be set once, so any subsequent revision won't change the data that was added to these particular scheduled tasks. It will just inform reporting and future use. If you select your name and pick a particular company, you'll see our milestone is already linked. If we want to relink it to a different milestone, we would have the ability to make that correction manually. Next, we'll import a revision. The revisioning process in the Runding RSchedule application is focused on allowing businesses to define the cadence at which they require revisions to come in. Those files can all be imported here and can be revised at any point in time. Click on Schedule Task to show the Revise button. The main information that is required is the revision schedule file that we need to extract information from. Click Select File and pick Revision 2 of that schedule file that we'd like to import. We suggest updating the name and the description for tracking purposes. It makes it easier to identify when doing demos and reviewing. If you have a different revision number that you'd like to provide, you can override that number here. If we leave this field blank, this should automatically increase from our current revision number of 1 to revision number 2. Click Create on this document. This is going to bring us back to the schedule. As before, when we created a brand new document, our file status is in Awaiting Processing, which means we're in draft. This is our last chance if we want to click Edit if we picked the wrong file. If we decide to proceed, click Submit to process. We suggest closing out of the window and then open back up the scheduled task for RSchedule to process. You can also visualize a subset of tasks or build a query that gives you a 6-week look ahead or a phased approach or a naming convention that you're filtering your tasks on. You can also visualize subsets of tasks on a Gantt chart review. Clicking the Visualize button, I can actually get that set of tasks in a Gantt chart view. Clicking back in the Schedule view, we'll see that our file status has completed as processed. In the Schedule Task view, our first handful of tasks in the schedule have gotten actual start dates and finish dates on them. To go one step further and show the linking, if we go back to our task, so our first task, our Hire Project Internal Delivery Team, which is linked to Milestone 1100 Contract Award, that we can click through and see in the Milestone application with a start and finish date. The last area to review is Revisions. Click Revisions to see revisions are sorted by schedule. We get the current revision number as well as the current name of the primary parent schedule and then the particular revision or previous revision that we imported. This shows revision number 1 from our P6 demo project that we imported. It has some of the narrative information from our original narration rather than the current. If we scroll down and look at the tasks, we can see that the actual starting end dates aren't populated here. So this really is a copy or a revision of our original schedule. The Runding RSchedule application pulls this copy data off. This makes it into the Kahua data store and makes it completely reportable to external data systems, as well as writing internal, more complex data reports and potentially leveraging Kahua's new analytics functionality. You can build your own analytics Power BI-based reports or engage Runding to help you manage that process as well.